Time now for Media Watch with Emma James, who's been taking a closer look at the controversy surrounding an important anniversary for Israel. And Emma, it's the street artist Banksy who's really caught people's attention online.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, it's 100 years since the Balfour Declaration was made, named after, of course, the British Foreign Minister who actually penned it. That laid the foundations for the creation of Israel, but marking the anniversary is certainly dividing people between celebration and anger. Now, for Banksy, the renowned street artist, the only acceptable party was a British apology party, which he actually put on at Israel's barrier in the West Bank in Bethlehem. As you can see, there was a queen of sorts there to unveil what was etched into the wall. It says, sorry. That was actually created by, obviously the ideas are all Banksy's, but it was created, the etching, by a professional stone carver who has worked on many places, including none other than Buckingham Palace, the real Queen's real residence. Now, in a statement, Banksy, because he never speaks publicly, because he still retains his anonymity, people have some ideas about who he might be, but nobody officially knows exactly. He said, the British didn't handle things well here. When you organise a wedding, it's best to make sure the bride isn't already married. Now, certainly looking online, there are quite a few people who agree with his standpoint. This person is one of them. The destruction of Palestine should be a cause for shame, not celebration. Banksy has always stood by the Palestinian people because this isn't just a cause that he's embraced for today. He actually did his first piece of graffiti in the West Bank back more than a decade ago. He first painted on that wall. Since then, he's created the Waldorf Hotel, not the Waldorf Hotel, the Waldorf Hotel. That opened earlier this year in the spring. And the idea behind it, there's a gift shop, you can buy his artworks, but you can also buy artworks created by Palestinian artists. There's also a museum which gives people a sense of the history of the area and the conflict itself. So it's there to provide serve various purposes. It was also hoped that it would up tourism to the area too. However, despite all this, even among Palestinians, opinion is divided as to his work there. In fact, there were some people who crashed this street party in Bethlehem. They were from a Palestinian refugee camp not far away, and they objected to the fact that Palestinian children were being used as a centrepiece. So some people do feel that he basically is obliterating the local voices there rather than helping to spread the message.
And finally, Emma, a great story, some presidential poetry here in France for one British girl's birthday.
Yes, it is rather a curious story. Some people do criticise Emmanuel Macron for being, dare I say it, a little pretentious, but he's put his love of poetry to good use, creating a verse to mark the birthday of a child who visited Paris and wrote her own poem about the Eiffel Tower. The French embassy tweeted this out earlier on. The girl is called Sophie. We don't know any more than that, other than that she was 12 when she came to Paris in April, and she wrote Centre of Attention. Since then, it's her birthday today, 13, so Emmanuel Macron has come up with his own verse in reply to her. We still don't know whether she's actually even seen it herself.
This is her poem, not Macron.
That's her poem on the left, his poem on the right.
On the right.
This is what was tweeted earlier on today by the French embassy. They even created a little video as well with the poems, which is really rather lovely. And lots of people seem to like this idea. Now, interestingly, the French embassy in the United Kingdom does seem to rather let the cat out of the bag by saying, read the original French version of the poem. So it appears he actually wrote it in French, then translated it. And I have to say it does actually read better in French than it does in English. However, some people are actually quite positive about his poetry in rhyming alexandrines, no less. Chapeau, Monsieur le Président, says this Twitter user. And I have to say there is a marked difference between the reactions that I've seen online from people in the UK and other English-speaking places as opposed to how it's been greeted in France. Can he be cloned and sent to the US? S'il vous plaît, says this person, and oulala, magnifique. But when we look at some of the French responses, this gentleman writing in English is actually French, says President Macron takes time to write a poem in English, but not to talk in French with workers on strike in La Souterrain, which is a little bit churlish perhaps, but my favourite response is this one. I've read his response to the little English girl. The president is to poetry what the Colorado potato beetle is to new potatoes. So really rather damning, but definitely across the globe, lots more people seem to be very positive about this little gesture from the French president.
Emma James with MediaWatch, thank you very much. Maybe say happy birthday to that 13-year-old girl, Sophie, wherever you are in the UK. I'm back after the break with more news and headlines. Do stay with us here on France 24.